am in the Denver area, and I should say, welcome back to myself.
Yeah, it's great to have you, Mike. Yeah, I'm up in the Rocky Mountains here in Denver, 2 p.m. MST time. Happy to have another LinkTank. These are getting better for everybody involved as we continue to, roll these out. Today, Mike is really focused on a subject. I'll let him introduce it, and it has so much relevance to what people are doing. And, me and Mike are truly into figuring out how to be cost and time efficient with everything we do on LinkedIn with an anticipated return on investment. So if you break it down, we value time, we value resources, and we value relevant collaboration. So, Mike, how does what we have to talk about today support what we're all about?
Yeah, Don, thanks. And it's I'm continuing in these conversations every day because I'm speaking to our clients in 2 to 4 consultative calls every day. And the thing that is what we're going to talk about today is what I call social media diarrhea, and it's a I mean, I just got to call it out because your objective, if you're in business like Don and I, and people have different objectives on social media. We're just talking about LinkedIn, and we're talking about business people on LinkedIn. We're talking about people in the service-based business, SaaS platforms, sales executives and salespeople, and executives at Fortune, 500, 100 companies. We're in business. So we have an objective. We're not just out here without, an excess of time, just doing things that aren't measured. We're look, I spoke with my business coach today, and he said, Mike, during the day, you work on your work, and then when your work's done, you work on your family. And when your family's done, you work on your wife. And when your wife's done, you work on your spiritual stuff. I mean, not in that order, but every day there's only one piece of pie.
Mm-hmm.
So during our day, we really don't have as business people the luxury of just wasting time. I mean, you can do it on Facebook, but on LinkedIn we have an objective, and that is to build a brand. That's Gary Vaynerchuk. Build your brand, build your company. If you do it, it's going to lead to more conversations, more sales, more strategic partnerships, joint ventures, books, talks, and all this amazing stuff. But there's a gap between what we're saying and executing that, and that is, well, how do you build your brand? And this is
Mm-hmm.
where social media diarrhea screws everything up, is because it's not about the volume of stuff that you put out there. And the social media agencies are just like getting Tony Robbins quotes and your quotes and quotes of like pictures of you standing in front of this. Like, the objective has to be that people get to know, like, and trust you and say, wow, he or she knows their shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Don, thoughts on that?
Well, after 3 years of posting every day, so that's like 1,000 posts in a row. And LinkedIn's not that big of a neighborhood, right? So it's not hard to see who's there and who's doing what and everything else. And when I look at the best, like Gary Vaynerchuk, and it's kind of interesting to say that because I decided, I walk 2 miles every morning as soon as I wake up. I haven't missed in
Nice.
20 years, right?
What? You haven't
And
missed that in 20 years?
no, every maybe one day. But anyways, I decided just to listen to
That's
Gary.
before you get your coffee?
Yeah, I mean, within 15 minutes of waking up, I'm out the door
And
because
then and then what? No, and you're in a place where it can get kind of nasty sometimes weather-wise. Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. But unless in Colorado, without getting too off top, if it's dry and sunny, 20 degrees is fine,
Right.
right? As long as there's no wind or snow, you're doing great. And you can pick the time you walk. So, anyways, getting
Don,
back.
I'm impressed. I think that's so great.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I'm knocking out an audible every 2 weeks, right? So while I'm walking, I'm listening. So I said, hey, I'm just going to do a Gary thing for a couple months. So I got Crushing It, the latest version. And, everything you're saying, he's saying. But you're not trying to be a Gary V lookalike. It just means a lot of what he's saying is proven, it's true, and it works. And what he was all about lately is authenticity. And I did a LinkedIn Live today on authenticity, right? And it's so easy once you sit there for 45 minutes walking through a beautiful park with fountains and birds and stuff like that, listen to him, you can't beat it. So that's how the day starts, right? Everybody who does great has a good something to their beginning to get them off to a fast track, as the first person you see only sees what you bring, right? If you're refreshed, you're happy, you're excited, you got something going, right? If you're dragging and thinking of something else when you're talking. So, anyways, relevancy is so important. What you were saying, time, efficiency, because, if you want to waste time, you need to reduce your goals, right? If
Yeah.
you wanted to do this and you decide you want to start redirecting time to something that isn't towards this, then be realistic and say, I can't be that ambitious with my goal. And now you make a decision, because everything you do either takes you closer to your goal or further away. Now, me and Mike are on a fast track, but here's the reason why. It's not just greed or ambition. LinkedIn right now is a gold rush, right? It's like supermarket sweep with no time limit in a dump truck. It's like, how much can you get in, right? It's just when like URLs became available, right? 20 some years ago. Whoever was there the first day and started buying one word URLs made zillions. LinkedIn, I figured out along with Mike, here's the deal. They can't charge for what they do until people win with what they do, right? So they're going to have to create winners like Facebook has or YouTube. People making a few million by their content, not by their content to get their business. And whoever does the most at the highest level is going to get the recognition,
Right.
including by LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn dictates algorithms, things like that. So getting back to,
Now, let me just jump in there for a second because um, it's been really amazing because we've had now two of our clients get recognized, like just like you said, by LinkedIn, by two different editors on LinkedIn
Mhm,
for their excellence. One of the women, Jessica Kriegel, got recognized on one of her videos, and she got, I think, almost 100,000 views of a video, and her video was amazing. And then she got recognized again about a really cool topic and by another area of LinkedIn. So what you said is true. Someone that I'm bringing on to help our organization and help our clients with some potentially some advertising stuff. It's kind of a secret. I'll keep it a secret until it gets closed and I get to test it on me. But some advertising stuff. He was like, "Man, you're killing it on LinkedIn," and I'm like, "Well, why do you say that?" And he's like, "Because I continually see you trending, and LinkedIn's telling me that you're trending on LinkedIn." And I was like, well, first of all, I'm super busy, so I don't look at the activity.
mhm,
So he sent me a screenshot today with like 15 posts of paragraphs that are coming up in his feed saying Mike Weiss is trending on this post. Look at this and look at this and look at this.
mhm,
So what you're saying is true. Like if you give and create good content, they want it and they will distribute it. So that's part one to the equation. And now, if you connect the dots to social media diarrhea, think about what a waste it would be for you to get 100,000 views of your video and you do leadership training at the corporate level and your video is about the new sprinkler system that you put in your front yard.
mhm,
Now, it might be a great video, and the person that's doing video for LinkedIn was like, "Oh, great video!" They put it on the video blog section of LinkedIn. You got 100,000 views of how you pick your sprinkler system and how great your grass looks. This is what we're talking about. That's a complete waste.
mhm.
You need to prepare. You need to prepare to win, and you have to produce content that's going to put you in the winner's seat. That's as simple as it is. And this is it's a continual conversation. People like to use their podcasts snip out a piece of their podcast where they have someone else they're interviewing. And you and I just spoke about this. And I'm like, well, if you're doing a good job with your podcast, you should have the other people be speaking the vast majority of the time. So the only conclusion people would get from watching you a podcast interviewing your expert is that, wow, you're a good interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, 100,000 views, they're going to say, well, Don's a great interviewer. So I guess if I was ever going to need an interviewer, I would get Don. But that's missing the entire point again.
Well, here's I think, and you make so many good points, is the takeaway for today with our conversation is when you don't have something that's relevant, you either don't have a lot of confidence in what you're doing, right? Because now you're just going for numbers, right? If I have a great bird video, get 100,000 views, has nothing to do with me, right? It has a lot to do with the views. And the point is, and we were talking prior to the show, you're only going to bring one person in at a time. Like I say, you might bring 30 in a day, but it's all sequential, right? So all you need is a conversation and engagement with one person at a time that relates to your ability to intake and their ability to communicate with you. And what I'm finding about LinkedIn Live, because I got away from here's knowledge, right? And what I got into is here's how you think about the knowledge you have, right? So yesterday was my LinkedIn Live was quantity versus quality. That's always a question mark. It's a question mark with content, right? It's a question mark with connections. Are you going for just a lot, or are you going for, a specific group? And that's where once you can get your content related to the group, because you don't want people who can't relate to what you're saying to hear it. You're wasting their time, and they're a non-starter. And you'd rather have less activity with more relevant communications because you got a better chance of converting. And the key is you're building an audience for yourself. Getting back really quick to LinkedIn, if you support LinkedIn, LinkedIn supports you. Let's just say that. And they're looking for more people who will get behind them, and not just a rah-rah thing, but to expose the quality of some of the tools that so many people don't even know exist, let alone how to use them, let alone with the desire or motivation to put them into action. So, I'm looking at LinkedIn Live as I'm going to monopolize it, right? It's like URLs. I'm going to get as many shows up in as many spots with as many people, with as many subjects that are relevant to those people and those audiences. And ultimately, collectively, like Mike says, everybody's going to say he or she is everywhere. Everywhere I look, they're somewhere doing something relevant. And that should be enough to give you a competitive advantage and distinguish you and differentiate you from the mob of 800 million people, where you can get to where you really want to get to, which is blue ocean.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's interesting also because I was speaking to somebody about podcasts, and they were thinking about doing a podcast. And like today, it's very crowded in podcasts. It's hard to get distribution. So the strategy seems to be with podcasts, create a podcast, and then everyone wants to be on a podcast. So you literally can go and find an ideal customer, then get them on a podcast or her on a podcast, spend 30 or 40 minutes with them, and make them look and feel good. And then when the podcast's over, you simply say, "Hey, that was really great. Can I help you in any way?" And so I was thinking about this angle for podcasts, and I'm like, that's crazy. If you're going to even if you did a podcast a week, which is a lot of work, and then you're literally going to try to, use the podcast as a lever just to be able to say to someone, can I help you? And sure, spending a half hour, 40 minutes interviewing them does build a relationship, but all that work for one lead a week where, you're not going to get distribution. So the podcast is really not going to work for you. It's going to cost a tremendous amount of time and energy, effort, and money. And you have to have a team organizing, booking this, showing
Mhm.
up, and all this other crazy crap. So I said, that's like, to me, that's dumb. That's
Mhm.
old.
Super dumb.
Because super dumb. Because what I can do is say, okay, fine. I can replicate that strategy and I'll just do it once a week, a LinkedIn live, and I can get anybody I want the same way. I can do a LinkedIn live. It'll get broadcast on their channel and my channel, and I get to still build the same relationship, and I get to really help them because I'm getting them distribution and helping build their brand. And at the end, when I push stop going live, I can have the same conversation. The advantage is that we're using Restream. You and I, we push a button and then we do it and we push a button and it's done and the recording's there. And then not only that, they do a post for you on LinkedIn and they get a post on their LinkedIn or her LinkedIn. So I just don't understand. I mean, sure, people
I'm,
already.
grab, I'm grabbing with both hands. Here's the key. They announce you to your whole network, but when you go live, they post for you. Okay. And what like I say, it's how you think will relate to how you do and how well you do. And when I looked at it, if you can compare it to like in high school, right? They used to have a PA system, and somebody would get on and say, okay, so, lunch is at 11:15. I look at LinkedIn Live the same way. I walk by the computer and I say, hey, I got something to say I just thought of. Flip on go live, talk for 10 minutes, and it's done. No preparation, no homework. It's just me, no script. I am starting to do a little bit more outlining and having a few subjects that I can touch on. So I'm a little more organized. But the beauty of it is, it's a huge platform. And for people like me and Mike, we're insignificant relative to the numbers on LinkedIn, relative to the competition. And what I would like to say is in all my other businesses, I picked niches and I created the niche. I didn't just pick one, I made one. And LinkedIn Live, if someone says, okay, who's on LinkedIn Live more often? I don't know. I don't even know one. I'm sure, people are doing them. So why not be the one? And whether that's LinkedIn Live or whether it's posting, what me and Mike were talking about is to be relevant, you need to be authentic, right? Just bring you to the party. That's all you got, anyways, right? And it's too hard to
Yeah.
run personas and blah, blah, blah. And the other thing is be specific with what you want. If you're not getting it, it's not because the platform isn't broadcasting it. It's just not clear enough, or you're talking to the wrong people for the wrong
Yeah,
reasons.
and if you're not putting out content that's going to support, wow, he or she knows their shit, and that's going to elevate your brand and put you out there as a thought leader, then you it's maybe harsh to hear this, but you're wasting time. And the other thing, Don, is which I love what you said, which is great. There are people that are monsters out there on LinkedIn. They just did the top 200 people on LinkedIn. It was a big list, and you know what? Those people, they're great. Shayra Bottom, she's amazing. I just think that she's done such an incredible job. I watch her and I learn things from her, and she's got like 800,000 followers. But like what she's doing, that's not my jam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like what you said. I don't need, 50,000 or 100,000 um, people to build a business, because how many customers can you possibly have, right? I've got, I don't know, 13 or 14,000, and we're on the way of building a multi-million-dollar business with a very small group of people. But the people that follow me and follow Don, like, they know that we're about like business. LinkedIn's a great channel, and we love LinkedIn. But on this channel, we're going to utilize it to give to others, share our expertise, and figure out a way to maximize our time, energy, and effort, help others, and do business. So, that's the bottom line. Going back, I think, and I'll tie up my part of this to going to the beginning and put a bow tie on the social media diarrhea. The social media diarrhea is a formula for mediocrity in terms of the value of your content. And then don't substitute mediocre content with volume, because then you're just going to make yourself irrelevant, because you're going to just cement in the fact to other people that you basically have nothing to say, or you don't add any value, and you're going to start doing it more and more, and you can even put yourself in a poor position. If you got mediocre content, put it out sporadically, and don't give away your hand that you got nothing valuable to say. Conversely, even if it's hard for you to produce great content, then just do one a week, but give good content that's going to enhance your brand, that will further your objective. So that's it, Don. I'm done. One thing I'll leave off with, and then you can wrap up, is right below us or me is the link. We're running a group. It's an extraordinarily inexpensive group. It's $47 a month. We're doing it to help the masses, and we're doing it in a way where, like, we help you understand what we're sharing today, and then, like, you go and do it, and we talk about it, and then the group, because we have a great group, is there to help and support, so you get it done. It's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to hear what we're saying today. This should, rattle your soul a little bit if you're doing it wrong, but then you're going to be like, oh shit, well, how do I do it right? There's no oh shit. $47 a month, that you take away the oh shit, and then you figure out, okay, I can do it. I just gotta, take those small steps. So that's it. I'm out for today. Don, you close us up.
Yeah, no, this has been great. Again, I follow up with Mike. If you want to get more insight, context, perspective, join the group. It's month to month, $47, guaranteed. If you don't like it, no risk. But the key is look at yourself. I always say take inventory with your time, match it against your results, and say, is this what you hoped for? Right? If it's not, you got to change something, or it's just going to repeat itself. LinkedIn's like a machine. You can't beat it, right? They know how the algorithms work. What you need to do is figure out, who do you want to talk to, because that's the whole thing to LinkedIn. What do you want to give them that's valuable enough that they want to talk to you, right? And then how do you distribute it? And I find that the more you do in the beginning gets you to become better at what you do. Thinking and wondering how to get better without doing is a you're just playing a game with yourself. And I think, buy vowels to solve the puzzle. Join me and Mike either on our Tuesdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Eastern time, LinkedIn Live. More importantly, if you really want to share something, I'll tell you what's so great about the program, and I'll close up with LinkTank. Anybody joining is getting like so much personalized help in the beginning, because, with a small group, everybody gets heard, everybody participates, everybody networks, for $12 a week to meet other fantastic people, to learn stuff. And me and Mike are putting 2 hours of our time every week into the broadcast, right? So you got us, and then you got us afterwards. And then Mike, I won't go into detail, has a boatload of quality strategies and trainings that he's making people available to. So anyways, with that, I think these are getting better, because here's what I know about these LinkedIn Lives, Mike, is we're sharpening each other, whether anybody's watching or not, and they're getting the best of what we can cook up. So it's almost like a jazz thing, where you just go off on a riff. So with that said, hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Hopefully it gets better after you've listened to us. Share this with others. Reach out to us. We're here for you. So with that, I'm done.
We're out, and see you on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Link Tank in the can.